All right, so get ready to dive into a book where the author interviewed spirits about reincarnation.
Oh, wow.
It's wild. The book is from 1857 by Allan Kardec, and he was smack dab in the middle of the whole spiritualist movement, talking to spirits through mediums, getting their take on, well, everything.
Yeah, the spirits book is structured like a cosmic Q&A, isn't it?
Totally.
He's asking questions to the spirits through mediums, and their answers make up the entire book.
I know. It's such a unique source, right? And for this deep dive, we're zeroing in on Part 2, Chapter 4.
Ah, yes, the plurality of existences.
Where Kardec really digs into the nitty-gritty of reincarnation.
Yeah, the why and the how of it all.
So first things first, did the spirits actually confirm that reincarnation is real? I mean, there are so many different theories out there.
Oh, they were very clear on that.
Okay, good.
Reincarnation is a definite yes, according to them.
All right, I'm intrigued.
And they gave some pretty compelling reasons for why it's the system the universe uses.
Okay, hit me with it. Why reincarnation? What do they say?
Well, one of the big things they talk about was the need for what they called expiation.
Expiation.
Yeah, it basically means we get to work through the consequences of our actions.
So it's not about punishment in the traditional sense.
Not exactly.
Right.
It's more like a cosmic balancing act, restoring harmony.
Interesting. So, like, if I messed up big time in a past life, I get another chance to learn from those mistakes and make things right.
Exactly.
That actually seems much fairer than just having one shot at getting it right.
Yeah, it gives us multiple chances to learn and grow, which I think is a really comforting thought for a lot of people.
Right. No pressure to be perfect in just one go-around. Okay, so expiation, check.
And the spirits also talked about another big reason for reincarnation. They called it progressive improvement.
Progressive improvement. Okay, what's that all about?
It's this idea that we as souls are constantly evolving, moving towards, well, a state of perfection.
Towards perfection. That makes sense. But does it ever get tiring for the soul?
Oh, is there never a break?
Yeah, do souls ever get to just relax and kick back and enjoy the cosmic ride?
Well, they didn't mention any cosmic vacations.
Oh, shucks.
But they did say that this progression, this movement towards perfection, it's not always linear.
Oh, interesting. What do they mean by that?
Well, for one thing, we can apparently reincarnate on different worlds.
Wait, hold on. Reincarnate on different planets.
Yeah.
That's a new one.
Right. It's pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah, tell me more about that. Like, what do they say about these other worlds?
Well, they didn't go into super specific detail about the different planets, but they did kind of make it sound like Earth is, well, not the most advanced place in the universe. It's a little bit of a rough school, you could say, a place with lots of challenges.
Ah, so it's like cosmic boot camp for souls.
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay, but there are other worlds that are more evolved, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where things might be a little less intense.
Yeah, potentially. They made it sound like there's a whole hierarchy of worlds out there, some more advanced, some less.
Wow, that's wild. It makes you wonder what those more advanced places are like, right?
It really does. I know I've got a lot of questions.
Me too. And I'm guessing our listeners are probably starting to have some of their own as well.
I bet they are.
But hold on to those questions for now. We'll be back to explore more of this fascinating stuff in the next part of our deep dive.
We'll be unpacking even more of the Spirits book and its insights on reincarnation, so stay tuned.
All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more on the journey of the soul.
It really makes you wonder, what these other worlds might be like, right?
Totally. It's like our human brains can barely grasp the idea of life on other planets, let alone what kind of civilizations or spiritual advancements might exist out there.
And what it might be like to reincarnate on a world that's totally different from Earth.
Right. So many possibilities.
Right.
But let's not get too lost in the cosmos just yet. We're talking about souls moving from one life to the next.
Yeah.
How does that even work?
Well, Kardec asked the spirits about that, and they said it's not like a spirit just pops into a new body right away. There's a period of transition.
Ah, so some kind of in-between state.
Yeah. They called it a time for the spirit to assimilate and process everything from their previous life.
Okay, so like a debriefing period.
Yeah, I like that. A debriefing. A time to reflect and integrate those experiences, kind of like downloading them into the soul's hard drive. And during that time, the spirit is still connected to the spiritual realm, hanging out with other spirits and getting a much broader perspective.
So it's not like purgatory or anything like that?
No, not at all. More like a time of rest, healing, and learning.
Rest and relaxation for the soul. I like it.
They did emphasize that linear time, as we understand it, doesn't really apply in the spiritual realm.
Right. Time is a very human concept.
Hmm.
But how long does this transition usually last?
A few months, a few years, a
Yeah.
few cosmic centuries.
Well, they were a little vague on that.
Okay.
They said what might feel like years to us could just be like an instant for a spirit. Ah, makes sense.
It's all relative, right?
Yeah, I guess when you're dealing with eternal souls, our human ideas of time probably go out the window.
Whoa.
But okay, let's say a spirit is all rested up and ready to jump back into the game. How do they choose where to go next? Do they get to pick their next destination, or is it more like, well, fate?
Well, the spirit said it's not always a conscious choice.
Oh.
Sometimes it's more like a spirit is guided, drawn to a particular place based on their needs.
Needs.
Yeah. Or their karma, their evolutionary path, all that good stuff.
So less like browsing a cosmic travel brochure and more like a soul-matching service.
Yeah, something like that. And they were very clear that it's a system based on justice and mercy.
Mm-hmm.
So even if a soul made some not-so-great choices in a past life, they're not going to be punished by being sent to some horrible place, right?
Right, because the whole point is about growth, not suffering.
Right. And the spirits even mentioned that sometimes a soul might actually choose to reincarnate into a less evolved world.
Whoa, really?
Right.
Why would they do that?
They said it could be for a specific purpose.
Like what?
Well, they mentioned things like wanting to help others, wanting to contribute to the advancement of a world, or even just to experience a different kind of challenge.
Wow, so it's almost like they're volunteering for a tough mission.
In a way, yes.
I guess it really highlights how interconnected everything is. We're not just isolated individuals on separate journeys. We're all part of this massive web of souls, all working towards something together.
Exactly. And it makes you think, doesn't it?
It really does. Okay, my mind is officially blown wide open.
Yeah.
But we've got to take a break, folks. We'll be back in a moment to delve even deeper into the mysteries of reincarnation, exploring how we can apply these concepts to our own lives. Stay with us. Okay, so we're back, and I'm still processing everything we talked about in the last part.
I know.
It's a lot to take in.
It really is.
But it's so fascinating, right? This idea that we're not just living one life, but multiple lives, all connected.
Yeah, it really changes how you look at everything.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
But, there's still some things I'm curious about. Like, we've talked about the soul as being eternal and evolving, right?
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I've always wondered about is gender. If our souls are basically genderless, why do we even have to incarnate into specific genders? Like, what's the point of that?
That's a great question, and it's one that Kardec asked the spirits too.
Oh, good. What do they say?
Well, they said that even though our souls don't have a gender, experiencing life in a physical body, with a specific gender, actually teaches us a lot.
What kind of lessons?
They said it helps us understand both ourselves and the world in a much deeper way. Like, by experiencing life as both male and female, we get a more complete picture of what it means to be human.
So it's like we're expanding our perspective with each lifetime.
Exactly.
And by walking in another gender's shoes, so to speak, we gain a greater appreciation for their unique strengths and challenges.
Yeah. And they made it very clear that neither gender is superior to the other.
Oh, good.
It's about recognizing the value of both.
Okay, that makes sense. It's not about one being better than the other. It's about experiencing the full spectrum. But I'm curious, how does all this tie in with people who identify as transgender or non-binary?
That's a good question.
Like, does the book address that at all?
Well, while it doesn't specifically mention those identities, the overall message is one of love and acceptance. So, even though the terminology might be different today, the core idea is that all souls are worthy of respect and compassion.
It's about honoring the diversity of the human experience, recognizing that our gender identity in this lifetime is just one part of a much bigger journey.
Exactly.
Okay, that's helpful. It feels like we've covered so much in this deep dive. It's amazing to think how these ideas, written over 150 years ago, are still relevant today.
It's true. Kardec really tapped into something timeless with the Spirit's book.
He did. But before we wrap things up, is there anything else from the book that really stood out to you?
What struck me most was the emphasis on love. It's not just a dry philosophical text about reincarnation. It's infused with this message of love and compassion.
Yeah, it really resonated with me too. The spirits made it clear that love isn't just some mushy feeling. It's the driving force behind our evolution, our reason for being.
It connects us all.
Exactly. And it's also encouraging to know that we have free will in all of this. We're not just puppets on a string, blindly following some predetermined path.
Right. We have the power to choose our own adventures, to learn from our mistakes, to create our own destinies within a larger plan.
I love that. And it reminds me of something else they emphasized. We're never truly alone. We're all in this together, supported by a vast network of loving spirits.
It's a comforting thought, isn't it?
It really is. Well, I think it's time to bring this deep dive to a close. But before we go, I want to leave our listeners with something to think about. If reincarnation is real, if we really do have multiple lifetimes, what kind of impact do you want to make on the world?
What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind?
That's a great question for everyone to ponder. Because this isn't just about us. It's about something much bigger, something that extends far beyond this one lifetime.
So keep exploring these ideas, stay curious, and remember, you have the power to make a difference.
Thank you all for joining us on this incredible journey through the world of reincarnation.